Okay, we're gonna solve with three variables, and I want to start out actually with one that's got two, and it's a problem we've done in the past. It's the one where we got a passenger plane, took 3 hours to fly at 1,800 miles in the direction of the jet stream. The return trip against the jet stream took 4 hours. What was the plane's speed in still air, and what was the jet stream's speed? And by the way, jet stream again is just fancy talk for wind. So here we've got two unknowns. I'll go x is the speed of the plane in still air, and I'm gonna go y is the speed of my jet stream. Okay, so we talked about how x plus y with the wind, it's going to speed us up and get us going faster. So it's going to be a speed though, so we're going to have to take the distance, the 1,800 miles, and I'm going to have to divide that by my faster speed of 3. So that's going to work out to be 600. Okay, and I've got x minus y is equal to 450. Okay, and I got that by taking 1,800, and I'm now going to divide that by 4. Okay, now before we would have just added them together. Okay, done a little elimination, but I'm going to try doing this one by a matrix. So there's my augmented matrix. And when it comes to work of these, I want you to show me the variables, come up with your equations. Here's the matrix that you're going to come up with going in. So here, give me a little bit of time to plug that into my calculator. 2 by 3 again. Go 1, and 600. 1, -1, and 450. Bring up row reduced echelon form. That's option B for me. Bring up matrix A, and we get my augmented matrix of 1, 0, 5, 25, 0, 1, 75. So what that's telling me is the speed of the plane. Come on, guy. Is 525 miles per hour, and the jet stream is 75 miles per hour. Okay. Again, we've done this one before with different methods. Just thought I'd show you how this works with matrices. What we're going to move on to actually is equations that involve three unknowns. So it says that a theater group sold a total of 440 tickets for $3,940. Each regular ticket costs $5, each premium ticket costs $15, and each elite ticket costs $25. The number of regular tickets was 3 times the number of premium tickets and elite tickets combined. How much of each type of tickets were sold? So again, identify your variables. I'm going to say X is the number of regular tickets, Y the number of premium tickets, Z is the number of elite tickets. Now I stress that this is the number of tickets because one of my equations will be these 3 types of tickets adding up to be 440 tickets. As I talked about in the previous video with the two unknowns, tickets plus tickets plus tickets should equal tickets. So how am I going to make those turn into dollars? Well, I need to know the cost of regular, which is $5, so $5 times X. The cost of the premium tickets, 15Y, and the cost of elite tickets, 25Z. But that's only 2 equations, and there's 3 unknowns. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use this sentence right here to come up with a third equation. Okay, and don't forget the word combine there. So what it means, or what it says, is the number of regular tickets, X, was, so equals, 3 times the other 2 types of tickets, premium and elite, combined. So my top equation, okay, I'm good to go. 1, 1, 1, 440. My second equation, I'm still good to go. 5, 15, and 25, 3,940. It's my third equation that I'm going to have to manipulate. So that's going to turn into x equals 3y plus 3z. And I need to move these two over to get it to look like the rest of them. So now my coefficients become 1, -3, -3, and 0. Run that through the row reduced echelon form. And I've already done this one before, so I'm going real quick because of that fact. But I'm just using my graphing calculator, and it tells me that the number of regular tickets, 330. There's 46 premium tickets, and there are 64 elite tickets. Okay, and I'm kind of abbreviating this real quick to save some space, but I'm looking for a sentence out of this too, just so you know exactly what you're finding and what you found there too. Okay, so we got a quilt maker. Makes 14 quilts for the year, has 113 yards. A small quilt requires 4 yards of fabric. A medium quilt requires 7 yards of fabric. A large quilt requires 11 yards of fabric. She plans to make twice as many large quilts as small quilts. This is really similar to the one you just did, except for it's not talking about dollars. It's talking about the yardage of the quilts. But X is what we're looking for. It would be the number of small quilts. Y is the number of medium quilts, and Z is the number of large quilts. And the number of each size should add up to be the total number of quilts made. Okay, much like the first equation when it was the number of tickets. My second equation is going to be, well, there's 4 yards that comes from the small quilts. There's 7 yards that comes from the medium quilts, and there is 11 yards that comes from the large. That's going to add up to 113 yards. Again, that's only 2 equations. I need to have 3 of them. So right here is the sentence that's the key to getting the third. Okay. It says that the large quilt, Z, is twice as many as the small. Okay, now Z equals 2x because let's say, for example, small quilts, I have 10 of them. That means I have to have double that in large, so 2 times that would be 20. Okay. Again, not in standard form, so I'm going to have to move that over here. The other ones are just good to go. So I got 1, 1, 1, and 14. 4, 7, 11, and 113. Okay, I move that over, so it's going to be minus 2x plus z is equal to 0. Make sure that you put a -2 in for x, but there's no y, so I'll put 0 for y. There is a 1 for z and a 0. That's what it's equal to. Okay, run that through the calculator. Let's get that moved over again here. Okay, so 0, 0, 1. And my last row, which should be 3, 5, and 6. So that means that I've got 3 small quilts. I've got 5 medium quilts and 6 large. Okay, we're talking about the number of quilts. So you need to have 3, 5, and 6. If they come out to be fractions or decimals, don't round them saying, hey, yeah, I need a whole quilt. I would, if anything, go back to this equation right here, and that's the one that you might need to fix. Okay, so play around with that, see what you get. The other thing is make sure you get all those numbers in there correctly. Changing one little sign, one number right there just kind of blows the entire thing up. Okay, so this is actually the problem that is just beyond the last video. It's talking about the investments, and it's talking about 3 different types of investments. Excuse me. It's how much money you put into each one. So X is the amount of money invested in stocks. Y is the amount of money invested in bonds. And Z is the amount of money that is in the money market. Now I've got 2 monies here. I guess I've got the 60,000, and I've got the 5,040. The 60,000 rather is the amount that I invested in them all combined. So that's X plus Y plus Z. Okay, and the way all investments work is that whatever your interest rate is, you take that interest rate, make sure you convert it into a decimal. So that's 12% is a decimal, and you're going to multiply it by how much you invested in each account. Well, I don't know how much money I invested in stocks, so I'll put X. So 0.12X. Do the same thing, move the decimal place 2 spots, divided by 100, and you get 0.08Y plus 0.05Z, and that's going to be equal to the total interest that you end up making. Okay, again, I've only got 2 equations. I need 3 equations, so I have one sentence in there that's got to give me something about how much I invested in each one compared to the other. So it says you want to invest the same amount in stocks as you did in bonds and market combined. So stocks X equals the amount of money that you put in Y and Z combined. Okay, so you can move this Y over here by subtracting Y, subtract Z. The top equation, you're good to go. It's already in standard form. The bottom one is 2. Be careful with those decimals. Get those zeros in the right place. Okay, but now in the bottom one, I got 1 for X, -1 in front of Z, -1 in front of Y rather, -1 in front of Z, and it's equal to 0. So there's my 3x4. Running into row reduced echelon form. You get the 9 numbers you're looking for, and the last column should be whole numbers. Again, if it's not whole numbers, check out your third equation. And now that we're dealing with money, take and check to see if your decimals are in the right spot for your percentages. But what it's telling us is we put $30,000 in stocks, $10,000 in bonds, and $20,000 in money market. Okay. Like I said, make sure your answers are realistic. I'm not going to have negative amounts of money to put into these, so check those out. I know we're talking about money, so it could be dollars and cents. If it was like dollars and cents and it like stopped in the nearest hundredths, go for it. But if you get some crazy decimal that you're not quite sure, again, go back. I bet if you were to troubleshoot this, that equation didn't get done correctly, or maybe you didn't write those percentages the right way.